same time. Okay, so guys,
Yes, we are now official.
already?
We're official.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, where are we?
Well, we're on Main Street in Winnfield. Now you turn in on Abel Street. Huey Long's office, first law officer, is right up there in the corner of that building upstairs. He didn't practice long in Winnfield. Found there wasn't any money to be made, apparently.
What are your
Okay, sorry. We need to get Winnfield identified as the home of the lawns, I think.
Okay.
So, if you want to try that question again, Paul.
Okay, so
You can just sort of look back to me every now and then, Mayor.
Yeah,
Me?
this is
Yeah,
where the
okay.
camera is.
Yeah.
Okay, like you're asking me a question or something. Okay.
you know, or me or whatever, but
But both of it, yeah, you can look back here and that sort of stuff, and then look at
Okay.
him and that sort of, you know.
All right.
what city are we riding in around right now?
We're in Winnfield, Louisiana. It's the home of Huey, Earl, Long, and O.K. Allen. Probably three of our most famous politicians from the state of Louisiana.
Do you get very many people that come over here, you know, for any particular reason, looking for anything?
Well, we've had people to come here wanting to see the Long house, any memorabilia that we might have about Huey and Earl Long. But you know, quite frankly, there's not anything to really show them. We have some statues of Huey and Earl here, which well, we're fixing to approach one right now. It's up here on the corner at the courthouse.
Have you had people just turn up on your step looking for things?
Well, we had some movie people in here looking for the Pea Patch farmhouse, and it didn't exist anymore. Yeah,
That
we've
was
had
Earl's-
people.
That was Earl's house.
That was Earl's home when he was governor. It was an old dog-trot house that he had fixed up to some degree. It was his place to relax and to. He actually took care of a lot of state business here in Winnfield at the Pea Patch house. I think he grew watermelons out there, and he sported hunting hogs and this type thing from the Pea Patch farmhouse. And it was just about a mile or so out of the city limits of Winnfield.
Should we drive around for a while? Go around the block here, and we'll go past Huey's again.
Well, we did
Oh,
that
no, Paul,
already.
Where did the idea of having a museum come from?
The idea for having a museum was actually created many, many years ago by the Wynn Parish Historical Society. They wanted a place that they could preserve the cultural past of our area, and the problem was we didn't have the funds or the facility to do it in and to house the museum. We had talked to the Kansas City Southern Railroad about the old depot, and here's the depot right here. It's a large building made out of cypress, and they finally donated the building to the city of Winnfield after I became mayor. I was president of the Historical Society at one time and tried to secure the building, but after I became mayor, it made it a little bit easier, I guess, to obtain the building. So we have the building in the city's possession. It's on city property. It was moved about 5 blocks to its new home, and it will be the Louisiana Political Museum and Hall of Fame. It was designated as such by the Louisiana legislature about 3 years ago.
What do you see the museum commemorating, and what's it celebrating?
Well, it's going to be celebrating,
The museum's going to
the museum is going to be celebrating Wynn Parish's cultural history, as well as the great political heritage that the state of Louisiana has. We've had many, many people in Louisiana that are very worthy to be recognized because of the enormous contributions that they've made, not only to our area, to our state, but also the nation.
Do you think that folks are going to be interested in coming to see a museum that celebrates Louisiana politics?
I think so. There's a great curiosity about Louisiana politics, and we've had many people from time to time wanting to see something about the Longs especially, and we don't have anything to show them here, so this is our way of having them a place to come to so that they could actually see some artifacts of these people. This is Gillis Long's mother's home
And he
here in
was,
Winnfield.
Gillis Long was,
Gillis Long was a congressman from the 8th District, which Wynn Parish was not a part of. It began in Alexandria and went all the way down to New Orleans. He had a long and narrow district around the Mississippi and Red Rivers. And
when we go past over here, Mr. Mayor, can you point out what we're passing the statue and the site of the Long family house? I'll ask you
Okay.
that as soon as we go over here.
okay. Just keep going straight on down this time too.
What are we passing over here?
Well, right now we're passing the Earl K. Long Park, formerly a state park, but now the Earl K. Long City Park. It's a 1-acre block, and it is the original site of the Long family home, ancestral home.
Now you told me that there was a rationale that you had for calling this museum the Louisiana Hall of Fame, as opposed to just saying the Long Museum.
Well, whenever we were considering how we would fund such an operation, the first thing that came to our minds was the fact that most politicians are looking for immortality, and what better way for a museum to be funded than for a politician to fund it themselves. And so that's the rationale behind it, and that's the way that we hope that we keep it operating. And we have had several people interested in having their names placed into the museum from not just here, but all across the state. Let them put their money where their mouth is. We might even wind up with a $20,000 room or even a $50,000 room. It all depends on how someone wants to be immortalized.
Do you think there's a large enough building in this state to be able to put all the politicians that would want to be in a Hall of Fame?
No, there's not. I don't even think the Superdome would qualify for that status.
Change your battery.
Named Huey P. and Earl K. You can go just about through any telephone directory in any community and see that. The reason that a lot of them are named Huey P. is that Governor Long offered a bounty if someone would name their child after him. So there are a lot of Huey Pierce Sauniers and Huey Pierce Thibodeaux and Huey Pierce Smiths and Conleys and Williams and Johnsons in Louisiana.
So what did we just pass there?
We just passed the Huey P. Long Motor Hotel in Winnfield. I don't know if they got $1 for naming that place after them or not.
Are there a lot of places named after Huey P. or Earl K. Long in town?
Well, the vocational school here, the Votech School, is named the Huey P. Long Votech.
This is going to be too bumpy for you.
No, all right.
We must have left the city maintenance, right?
Yes, we left city maintenance and are now on state maintained road. This is called the Doug DeMona Dykes, and you can tell that we don't have a Long in the governor's chair at the present time.
Now, should we keep driving in this direction?
You can't turn around.
Okay.
You're on it for 2 miles. So just go on down here, Paul, and you can make a U-turn and come back. Yeah. Looking for any kind of
Can you take
memories.
Can you start off with that? Did you get a lot of people over here that are looking for memorabilia of the Longs?
Oh yeah, we have an awful lot of people that come here looking for memorabilia, you know, things about the Long. But they are true students of politics and history that have an interest in that. Because I think the uniqueness of the Longs, and probably especially Huey and his farsightedness and innovations that he created in Louisiana, that certainly got national attention, was a stimulus, you know, that for many of the programs and things that we have today. There was the old George Parker Long home right back there. It's a beautiful old home. It is on the National Historic Register. George Parker Long was, well, he was related to Huey and Earl somehow or another. Matter of fact, this whole area here was called the Huey P. Long subdivision. It was named after, of course, Huey's father, who had his farm began here and went back toward the Doug DeMona River.
Should we get off over here? Oh wait, the site is over in the other place. My apologies.
What are you looking for?
Right now.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you can tell us where we are.
Where are we right now?
Well, right now we're at the Earl Kemp Long City Park, formerly a state park, and it is the ancestral home site of the Long family, Huey and Earl, brothers and sisters, mom and dad. There used to be a large 2-story home sitting here, but it burned down many years ago, and the family donated this property to the state so that a state park could be built here to commemorate Earl. Well, we've just stopped at the,
Okay, hang on right now. Yeah,
Okay, Mr. Bear, where are we?
right now we're at the Earl Kemp Long City Park, located in Winnfield. It's on 1 acre block in the city and is the former site of the ancestral home of the Longs. There was quite a few members of that family. They're all emblazoned in bronze up here. It has a list of the family members and a carving of what the house that stood here looked like. It burned down many, many years ago. But Earl is buried right here, and I remember I was a real young kid and I lived about 2 blocks from here whenever they buried Earl, and I was up here. It was hot weather. I remember all I had on was some shorts, and the reason that I know that is because that was the first time that I ever saw myself on TV. We didn't wear shoes or shirts in the summertime around here, and I remember I was right up there with everyone looking at what was going on. But it's really, really a fine place. It's a beautiful place in the springtime when the flowers are in bloom. We've had a lot of trees to get disease and been having to cut those down, but it's really, really nice. Okay, why don't we walk up here and check it out. It's got a lot of stuff written on the marble.
He's buried right underneath that statue?
That's right.
Is there as much interest in Earl as there is in Huey?
I think locally there's probably, in the state, there's probably more interest on Earl than there was Huey. Huey was more of a national figure. Earl was really a people person. And we have a lot of people to stop here and walk the park. As a matter of fact, the last year that the state operated this park, the guest register showed over 3,000 people stopping that year at the park.
The state no longer operates this park at all?
No. This park is operated by the city of Winnfield via a trust, the Ella Long Knott Trust. Ella Long Knott was a sister of Earl Long, and in her will she established some trust funds for the perpetual care and maintenance of parks. And that's how the city got control of the park. Was a lady, an elderly lady, contacted me one day and said, "Mayor, when are they going to rake the leaves up at the park?" And I said, "Well, you know, the state's cut it down because of budget cuts." And she says, "Well, there's a trust fund that I know about that's supposed to be taking care of that park, Fort Jessup, and another state park." And I said, "Well, what's that?" And the Ella Long Knott Trust, she told me. And so what I did, I got on the phone with the Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism, talked to folks down there, and it was the quickest I've ever seen the state act. I asked them, I said, "When are y'all going to rake the leaves in the park?" Just as the lady had asked me, she says, "Well, Mayor, you know, funding's been cut back. We've had orders from the governor's office to shut down a lot of state parks and everything." And I said, "Well, I think it's kind of silly to put a no trespassing sign in something that's not even fenced up." And I asked him about the Ella Long Knott Trust. He says, "Oh, you know about that?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I sure do." So we got our hands on the trust fund, and each year we receive a check, the city does, to help take care of the grounds.
Do you think it's sort of ironic, considering the state's past, that the state economy would lead to a "don't use a park" sign for the Long family here?
Yeah, well, it's really kind of stupid. There's a lot of ignorant things that have been done, and we don't know why. Just like roadside parks where there was just a picnic table or a garbage can there. They spent more money piling dirt up over the drives that go in and out of the park, those roadside areas, than they'd ever put on the drives to begin with. So it was really quite silly. And of course the public understands and realizes that, but we don't understand why state functions as it does sometimes. But I guess we just get accustomed to it and let them go ahead and do it, and every once in a while we'll spill people out of office to try to make a few changes.
Over here?
Hold on just
Say
a
that
second
again.
while we're running. No, you
Okay.
can go.
Yeah.
Tell us that.
Right.
Tell us again.
This is the Earl K. Long Highway. It's known as Grove Street, the Possum Neck, the Horseshoe, and the Earl K. Long Highway. So if anybody ever tells you that it's on one of those places, one of those streets, well, you've got 4 to choose from. But this is the road that the famous Pea Patch Farm was located on.
And that's what?
What was the Pea Patch Farm?
The Pea Patch Farm was Earl Long's home here in Winnfield. This is where he came and conducted the affairs of state most of the time. And while he was governor, most of the affairs were taken care of here. This is where he invited many of his political cronies and pals people in the legislature to come and hunt with him, dine with him, and it was located right up here, right behind where that brick home is now. It burned down in 1961, I believe it was, shortly after Earl's death. And this was his farm, outbuildings, located right on Port Duluth. It's what we call the stream here. And whenever it rains, it pours, and whenever it pours down rain, this is usually all underwater. The story basically was written, you know, and he
was trying to get a sense and a feel for the
right.
place when he was here.
Yeah. Because he only came to Winnfield last, the Louisiana.
1 second.
Okay, tell me when. Give me the cue, director.
When we ask, I'm going to ask you to tell us what it is, what it's called, and why you called it, and what your ambitions are. For
Okay.
it. Okay, you can just
Right here?
Right over here is good.
You want me to be still and just look at you?
Yeah, that'd be
Look at your eyes or at that thing? Look at you, okay. This is the Louisiana Political Museum and Hall of Fame, and by looking at it, you might think that politics in Louisiana is in a shambles right now, but actually it's not. We've just started this project to convert this old L&A depot into this museum. And it's a way that we're going to honor our culture and our heritage of politics in Louisiana, and which is so colorful. If you want to, we can go inside and take a look at it, but it's not a whole lot to see.
Why don't you tell us some of the things, some of the exhibits you have in mind, some of the stuff that you might do
Okay.
to enhance the
All right.
museum?
One of the main features of the museum is that it will house the P-Patch indoor set that was used in the production of the movie Blaze. The production company gave the set to the community and all of the props, and so we're going to recreate that particular thing. We have lots of memorabilia, such as newspaper front page headline stories. We plan to have audio and video presentations here, especially on the Long family, and be a collection of books, of rare books, autographed books made by Huey and Earl Long, and a lot of political buttons, posters, and this type of thing, banners. Politics in Louisiana is very, very colorful, and we have a lot of colorful propaganda to show the public.
Mr. Mayor, why did you call this the Hall of Fame as opposed to the Long Museum?
Well, we came up with Hall of Fame thinking about what we were trying to do very simply by saying, well, all politicians are looking for immortality, and why not fund this museum by the politicians putting the money into it? The state is by no way putting any money into this project, but we will receive money from Louisiana politicians who wish to have their names perpetuated through time.
What you just mentioned, one of those things that, another way they can have immortality.
Okay. Another way that they can have immortality is through our Grumman Theater Politicians Walk. These are some of the walks that we did whenever the production Blaze was here, but we also plan to allow Louisiana politicians or other famous politicians who happen to trot our way come here and have their footprints and handprints or their signature remain with us.
What do we have down over here? Whose signatures and stuff?
Well, we've got Ron Shelton here. He was the writer-director of Blaze, and Lolita Davidovich. She played the starring role as Blaze. Armand Gantz was a production designer. The executive producers, David Lester and Don Miller. Penelope Foster, the production coordinator, and Wendy Durrance, producer, and of course Paul Newman and Larry King down there on the end. And behind you we have the whole crew who signed a large sidewalk.
Think a politician's going to want us to stay in one place long enough to get his
Well, I guarantee you it won't take a politician long to get out of the concrete. He probably has that in the back of his mind that somebody's always wanting him to stay permanently in it. So it'll just be a very light print, I'm sure.
Do you think that people will come a long distance to see a museum about Louisiana politics?
Yes, I believe that they will. I know that they will.
People will come a long way to see
People will come a long way to see Louisiana politics. Louisiana politics is so colorful, it's so interesting. It's nothing else like it in all of the America. And I guess that the seat of all that Louisiana politics is right here in Winnfield, Louisiana, a place who has had a wide array of political philosophies that have floated here, everything from liberal democracy to socialism. So we welcome them here to come and see us and visit our museum. The opening date for the museum is July the 1st, 1990. Of course, you won't use that for sure, because it will come out for a year. I got tons of that stuff. I got, don't tell me how many reels of that stuff that the guy at the radio station did. That's who recorded most of that stuff, is that guy out there, because he would call him all the time. Hey, Betty. And anyway, this guy died and everything. His wife found all of these. This was the this building was the L&A Depot. It was built in 1902, and it was a center of traffic and trade here in Winnfield. We had 3 such depots at one time, and this is the last structure remaining. And I guess we're all getting a little sentimental and everything. We want to try to preserve everything that we can, and we were able to preserve this building. We've saved it from destruction, and it will be here, I hope, forever as a shrine to the politicians of the state.
Has Winnfield changed a lot since the time of the longs?
Oh yeah, all communities grow up. Winnfield is an old community. It's been here since 1854 as a community. It was incorporated in 1901, and Winnfield's really grown. We've grown from nothing to about 7,500 people.
Why?
You're a politician in Winnfield. Is there anything that Earl Long taught you? Not obviously personally, but what have you learned from Earl Long's kind of politics? Is that still useful?
Oh yeah, I would say the greatest thing that I learned as a young person, not having personally known any of the Longs, was the fact that if there's something to do, do it. If there are problems out there, there are always solutions. Roll up your sleeves and tackle it, and you'll find solutions to all of your problems. And that's what I've gained from the readings or whatever knowledge or the experience of one-on-one conversation I have with people who were contemporaries of those days.
There's always the feeling about the Longs, and I admire them very much, but there's always the feeling that there's something about them that they're not playing straight politics, that there's something a little crooked, or that money can change hands, that sort of thing.
You want me to repeat that question?
Well, no, just how do you feel about that?
Well, I would definitely say that anytime anyone raises their hand in Winn Parish, in the city of Winnfield, or Louisiana, or the United States, they're automatically labeled a crook. Whenever you say, I swear that I will do the best job that I can, you're automatically labeled that way. And I think that that's just what that is. I don't think that they were crooked or scandalous people. I believe that they really had a desire to serve the public and do the best job that they could. Earl, for example, all he ever wanted to be was governor of the state of Louisiana. That was a full-time job for him, and he was probably governor whenever he wasn't in the chair. But it's a shame that the public perceives a politician as a crooked or scandalous type person. I don't consider myself that way, and that was one of the hard things that I had to accept after I took office, that I was automatically labeled downright old left field crook.
But there seems to be in Louisiana, I know that in certain parts of the country, to go into politics is considered because you feel like it's a higher calling and you want to make laws and help in governance. In Louisiana, there's sort of a feeling that, well, you go into politics because there's some money to be made there.
Well, they do pay pretty good in most state offices, but it's legal tender. It's not under the table. And I'm sure we have our share of corruption and crime in government, But I know there's a lot of states out there that do, that have a higher rate of public officials that are up to hanky-panky than Louisiana. For example, New Mexico, I believe, is one of those states that ranks higher than Louisiana in that category. There's a lot of others that do as well. But, just tell me when.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to get ahead of you now. You want me to start directing this thing? Let me get out of your way there.
Huey's not looking too good with his wife.
Where we are, who this is, and then tell us about what some people say about careers in politics in Louisiana.
Okay. Right now we're at the Wynn Parish Courthouse, and this is a statue of Huey Long, the kingfish of Louisiana. Huey Long had a lot of brave political philosophies, and he didn't mind carrying them out in the 1920s and early 30s. Of course, he met his death in an assassin's bullet in 1935. He is buried at the Capitol in Baton Rouge. And this statue here was placed here by the Reverend Gerald L.K. Smith, who was from Arkansas, who was an apostle of Huey Long. He believed in what Huey Long was doing at that time. At the time that he was doing it, he was doing the right thing. People were starving for leadership, and he provided a lot of leadership for a lot of people, not just Louisiana, but throughout the rest of the nation.
You're in politics, and you've been in politics for a while, and you were telling us the feeling you had about serving in politics.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've chosen not to run for a third term as mayor of Winnfield, and I've had a lot of people to say, hey Max, you've been doing a great job for us. Says, why don't you stay around? Says, we need your leadership. And I tell them, well, I appreciate the thought and everything, but you know, I've got other commitments and other things that I feel like I need to do. Maybe some of them political in the future. And I told them that, you know, it's the way I look at it is just like this. If you serve the public for 4 years in Louisiana, you're crazy. If you serve them for 8 years, you're insane. And if you serve them for 12 years, you'll most probably get indicted.
That seems to be true with a number of our...
Yeah, it's history repeats itself. Sometimes you don't last 6 months. That wasn't on film, was it? Oh, me. Well, let's see. What we're going to do now? We're going to go up to, let's go to City Hall.
Okay.
And see what City Hall looks like.
Fine.
Was that on film?
No, no.
Oh, dog, that's like Balboa here. Let's go find the Pacific Ocean. Oh.
Okay. Hang on. Okay, good.
I don't guess I ever told anyone, but Winnfield is in North Louisiana, and there's a great cultural difference between North and South Louisiana, but when it comes to politics, it's all about the same. And one of the most interesting things that's happened in recent history that I thought that was amusing was this little item here. This was a campaign card, and a unique campaign card in the fact that it had kukutsa seeds in it. This gentleman was running for agricultural commissioner in the state of Louisiana, and he put an advertisement in the Farmers Market Bulletin, which is published by the Commissioner of Agriculture, to send a self-addressed stamped envelope, and you could receive your free kukutsa.
Let's be brief about it. Okay.
Okay.
This is
All right.
one of your favorite, you know, one of your more unusual
Okay.
things about
Okay.
Louisiana.
It's all right to say that about there's not any difference in North and South, huh?
Because,
Okay.
I'd sort of never heard of it until
Okay.
5 months ago.
Okay. Certainly one of my favorite Louisiana political campaign stories is the one that involved kukutsa seed. Several years ago, there was a gentleman that was aspiring to the office of Commissioner of Agriculture, and by doing so, he put an ad in the Farmers Market Bulletin that is published by the Commissioner of Agriculture. In the advertisement, it simply said, send for your free kukutsa seed. A kukutsa is an Italian squash, and people responded apparently by mailing a self-addressed postage-paid envelope, and in return getting the package of kukutsa seed. When they received the kukutsa seed, it was in this little campaign package here. It rattles and everything, and it says, vote for Ted L. Nelson, Commissioner of Agriculture. Well, my understanding is, although I don't know the truth of the whole story, but the present commissioner of agriculture was kind of upset that this gentleman was using the Department of Agriculture's publication to all the farmers in the state and sending out his campaign information, and I understand that the advertisement was cut. Of course, the response of this gentleman was, here I am trying to feed the great people of the state of Louisiana, and the Commissioner of Agriculture is taking food out of their mouth.
How did he do in the race?
I think he came in dead last.
Can you tell us that just real quickly?
Okay.
Just big. Here's a package of cucuzi seed that's Italian squash. Hold it towards the camera so we can
The
see
whole time,
it.
yeah.
Okay.
And this fella, and when you got your free seed.
I don't need to.
It doesn't really.
All right. Just quickly, what's that you got in your hand?
This is a free pack of cucuza seed that I received in the mail after responding to an advertisement in the.
Okay. Even just free pack of cucuzi seed that a campaign, a candidate for Commissioner of Agriculture was giving out to try to get votes.
Okay. All right, this is a free pack of cucuza seed that I received in the mail by a candidate that was running for Commissioner of Agriculture several years ago.
Okay, and
Is that all you want me to say?
What was the point of it then?
Well, the advertisement was in the Farmers Market Bulletin, and which was published by the Commissioner of Agriculture. Y'all got me all fouled up here.
Yeah, why don't we
I can't do that. In Louisiana, they'll go to just about any extreme to get a vote. That's not saying they'll go out and buy them, but they use really unique campaign material, such as this free pack of cucuza seed or Italian squash that was used by a candidate for Commissioner of Agriculture one time in a response to ads in the Farmers Market Bulletin. You want me to tell the punchline? Huh?
No.
Well, I didn't know if you want me to tell that they jerked it out of the Farmers Market Bulletin. That's what makes it unique to me, is that they jerked it out, you know.
What did they do to it?
The Commissioner of Agriculture, who he was running against, pulled the ad out after he discovered that free cucuza seed was going out to the public via the Commissioner's Agriculture report.
And what did the guy defend it as? What did Nelson defend it as?
Oh, he defended his position in that he was trying to feed the great people of the state of Louisiana, while the Commissioner of Agriculture is once again showed he was trying to take food out of their mouth.
Please.
You just hold it up to me now.
No, the other way.
The other way, quick
Just got to
enough.
get the shot.
Okay.
All right. Is that okay, or do you want?
It's fine.
Cucuzi, huh? Never heard of that.
Are you sure that you don't want him holding it the same way he was when you had the faraway shot? Because won't the continuity become a
It
shot?
looks the same
Yeah,
way.
he was holding it the way he's
That's
holding it now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the way it looks like to me. All right.
Of course, he's legally blind. He can't drive.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Those lens don't look too thick
The
on those
blind
glasses.
cameraman, yeah. I don't know. After a production, we sometimes feel like can't. I'm